This is a heavier episode, but something that I definitely want to talk about. My name's Jesse. I'm a Mexican American from Southern California. I've been living in or around LA my entire life, and it's the place that I call home. So it's terrible seeing innocent people being stripped away from that same home. I don't feel okay sitting back and watching this stuff without, at the very least, being able to offer my own platform or perspective at whatever size that may be. And lastly, before you go crying in the comment sections, I'm not here to debate policy. I'm here to just talk about what it feels like right now to live in Los Angeles and see my people hurt. This is Glue FM, ideas, stories, and conversations to help you hold it together. I'm Jesse. Let's get into it. First thing I want to say, watching this video, you're looking at me, I bet, and with the performative male camo hat and the mustache and being super white, especially with this soft box pointing at me. And if you're listening only, you probably might already know how I look, but I am half Mexican. My last name, part of it is Cuesta. My entire dad's family is Mexican, and that doesn't mean that I feel like you have to be a part of a certain culture to feel affected or feel empathy or any of that stuff, but it definitely hits harder. And I know people who are here as immigrants, and I know people who have went through these same things. And, being white passing like this, it's kind of this thing I've always dealt with my entire life. And on one hand, I want to acknowledge kind of all that privilege that I have by being able to, live my entire life in Southern California, benefit from all the amazing culture that the Mexican people have to offer, whether it be within my own family or with my friend's family, who even showed me more stuff than I could have ever learned with my own family. And, basically being able to enjoy all the fruits of all that amazing labor and culture and awesome stuff that those people do, but also not really having to deal with any of the risks. And it sucks because I think a lot of other people, children of non-Mexican immigrants or even children of immigrants who are here safely and securely, I think there's a lot of guilt. I feel a lot of guilt being able to be a part of these lovely people and be fully safe and go unbothered essentially by this entire thing. I'm not unbothered, and this shit's fucking whack and it upsets me, but it's strange to know that I could just turn the blind eye, none of this would matter, and I would be just another white graphic designer in LA. This stuff isn't, there's endless injustices going around in the world. And it's sad to say, but I think people have gotten fatigued by how much bad shit happens. It's hard to have unlimited empathy for all the fucked up shit going on in the world, right? But I think it hits significantly harder when you're seeing this stuff happen in the United States, in California, in Los Angeles, or however much you want to narrow it down, this country that we supposedly pride ourselves on being free and being accepting and being a melting pot and being open to everyone, and having these made up rules, that say that we will accept people, even though it's kind of all built on a lie and bullshit, and we stole this country from other type of people. But LA's economy heavily depends on immigrant labor from Mexicans and all other types of immigrants, and food, construction, service work, agriculture, all that stuff. It really is the cultural backbone of this city, and removing people that you heavily benefit from not only should bother you morally and upset you because it's not the right thing to do, but it's actually going to fuck up the entire state even more. We already don't have enough resources. We already need all these people in these positions. And, the argument that it's taking any types of jobs from people who should live here or whatever way they want to frame it, those people can have those jobs whenever they wanted to, and they're not, and, I'm not here to drop all these stats and show you how big the impact that immigrants have on Los Angeles and how much we benefit from it. You can look into that yourself. I just wanted to stress kind of the importance of how stupid and how big of a deal it is to remove these hardworking people and tear their families apart. Anyone who's ever lived in Southern California and LA knows how much the city runs on these amazing people and how detrimental it is to take them away and send them to, for some of these people, a country that they've never even lived in. If you protect your peace enough to not be in the constant aggressive rage bait news cycle and you don't know what ICE is, they are a group of bozo, like, kind of cop immigration enforcement agents. And like, think of like the dumbest person that that is kind of lightweight racist. Some of them are Mexican, which is kind of really extra frustrating. But think of like a douche that you knew from high school. Like, think of like the dumbest douche you knew from high school and think of them becoming a cop, right? And then think of like the dumbest idiot that they know in their circle. That's probably the ICE agents that are terrorizing your city. And they're allegedly here to deport and enforce regulation on bad stuff and bad people coming into the country. They conduct arrests, they have detention centers, they handle deportations for these like criminals and drug lords and people bringing in fentanyl and cartel members and things like that, which isn't usually the case. I don't think that they are too worried about actually removing people who are doing harm. It's more like this shotgun effect. Like, well, if we just fuck over everyone and take everything out, maybe we'll get lucky and accidentally remove someone who's connected to the cartel or whatever methodology they have there. And some of these people, the fathers, the mothers, and the children are being separated. And I know some people who their parents came here, right? They're not even born. They have this child in this country that we swear to protect them and provide peace and freedom. And now they're like 20, 30 years old. These same humans, they grew up, they had that kid, and then that kid grew up, and that kid is now being sent back to a country that they've never called that place home. They've been Mexican Americans here. Like, imagine that happening to you and how much perpetual trauma that's going to just continue to put on these people and put on communities. And you're from Mars or whatever the fuck. Your parents flew a spaceship here and they went through all this terrible shit, right? They had to go through asteroids and fucking space and getting hit by rocks and whatever. And it took this immense journey, or it took this much bravery to come to another place to try to make a better life for you. And you're born here and you're trying to pay that forward. You're trying to make a better life for yourself as well, and maybe your own kids in the future, and provide for your parents and kind of pay it back. And you're doing well. Maybe you're going to college and you got some kind of grants or loans, and you did all that. You got an amazing job. You got a good salary. You're the first person in your family to have this kind of, white collar position or whatever it may be. And now, just because of the color of your skin or where your family's from, all that can be stripped away and you can be sent back to fucking Mars or whatever. Just because of what you look like or who you are, or some kind of piece of paper that says something. And, this is a planet. We're all human, and we live in a country that was already built upon land that was stolen from another type of people, and we made all these fake lines and papers and borders that shouldn't exist. I mean, other animals in different ecosystems don't create imaginary rules for what types of different people can live there. This stuff isn't just abstract issues, right? This is actually having toll on the communities that myself and many other people I know are a part of. Families are being separated. Parents are losing their kids are losing their parents, and there's fear in these everyday people's life. And a lot of these people are already in unfortunate circumstances, and now they have an immense additional level of stress from being worried that their fucking neighbor might call these ICE assholes on them while they're just trying to work. Like, imagine you have to go to this job that's already really hard, and you're one of the people supporting the entire city through your hard work. You're already probably not being paid a fair wage. And now you have to be worried about the same people that you're trying to be a part of in the same community that you're supporting turning their back on you in that time of need. And this has such a psychological toll. And I'm not going to give too much armchair psychology, but from what I've learned going to therapy with myself and reading stuff online and science-backed evidence about generational and community level trauma, this has such a bad toll on these people and these communities, and it just further continues a cycle of hurt. And then from the people who are against these people being here and in support of ICE, that is just further pushing this hatefulness and that kind of perpetual trauma of not accepting and loving one another. We already live in a country built off imaginary borders and imaginary lines, so it's just so fucking silly that money and a map or a piece of paper or whatever is able to decide a human being's worth and, you know, who gets to belong somewhere and who doesn't. It's just sad, man. It's sad that, you know, you would like to think we would be there for one another, you know, and there are a lot of people doing amazing things right now for the community and helping and putting their best foot forward and putting their ass on the line to help these people, doing way more than I am by sitting in the comfort of my office, you know, talking at you. But it's just fucked up that, yeah, there's all these people doing that good stuff, but then there's other people who are volunteering to be a part of ICE and wanting to be a part of this system that is all built on stolen land. We're the original fucking immigrants. We came and took land from Native Americans, and I just don't know how, like, you can't look at that irony in that, and how can that be lost on you? Like, how it's just weird that I think a lot of people associate being an immigrant, especially with not being white, but white people are like the original fucking immigrants. And it's not a perfect analogy because what we did was fucked up. Mexican people aren't coming here and killing everyone and saying this is our country now. That was what we did. But it sucks to see fathers, brothers, mothers, and sisters just stripped away from their families and their complete lives turned upside down and ruined because of what's written on a piece of paper or the color of their skin. And you know, all this stuff I do online, Jesse Nyberg, obviously the name Nyberg is a white name, and that is like Swedish or Norwegian from my mother's side. My other last name is Cuesta. Some people know I have a design studio called Cuesta Studio. And I'm also proud, like I spoke about, of being a Mexican American. And I can't imagine having to go through this just because of, you know, your name, where you live, where you're from, the color of your skin, how you look, or any other type of prejudice that someone may have about you or put upon you. And I don't talk about this stuff all the time because of some of that stuff of, you know, how I look and other things, but I don't really care about that right now. You know, I'm Mexican. I know that. It doesn't matter what other people and stuff they may put on me like they're doing with these people. And I don't know everything. I don't know all the current stats about everything. I don't know all the policy that some people may know or in support or against what's going on. I'm not here to say I'm an expert in any of this, but I do live here in Southern California and I do live here in LA, and I do know how it feels to see friends, families, brothers, sisters, people that I actually know stripped away and hurt by this situation, and also seeing people that I don't know, but I know who are huge factors in our community and our city that help keep it running smooth and help make it so we can live this safe and privileged life. I do know that I see that going on, and it does not feel good. I don't think you need to know every single nuance if it's something is making you feel a certain way. I think that's the part that sometimes we're forgetting. If something you see is sad and makes you feel bad, why do we need to search for a reason to justify it? So I don't want to try to tell you all the most updated stats. You can do all that and look into everything yourself. What you can do for the people around you is share resources that will help them that you see online. Don't be a narc. Show your support against ICE if that's what you think. Fuck ICE. You can help people by participating in the things that are like the local shelters and the people doing food and safety outreach and stuff in the community. You can go to protests, things like that. I know I said you could share stuff about online, but also be careful about the things you post online, especially images, because sometimes it can do more harm than good. I've seen that with past issues that I've been a part of and went to events and rallies and things for. Don't do stuff for clout, and post things that can further danger the safety of the people you're trying to protect. And you can just support different community-driven efforts. There's a lot of cool stuff in the hardcore scene with a lot of check out bands like Barrio Slam, Desmadre, stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not the expert on any of these issues or situations. So if you have any better info or resources that's credible and legit, feel free to drop it in the comments or share it with the people around you. I don't have any issue with that. Drop your links, and I want to invite collaboration from my audience and not control the narrative. Like I said about the people building up the community and being helpful in a world, I've helped a lot of people in the graphic design world, and hopefully through talking and podcasts and other community-based things and content, whatever. And maybe some people only knew me as like this white designer dude, but if you agree with the shit going on, I don't want you a part of this community, and fuck you, fuck ICE. And I'm proud to be Mexican, and I want my people to overcome this and feel safe. Thank you so much for listening to this one. Something that I have been thinking about and I've been wanting to at least kind of speak on and give my simple perspective, but I didn't really know how. Now it feels like a better time than ever, and this is not just a reaction to the current news cycle. I was looking back at a newsletter I wrote about this. It was in June 2025, and it felt and looked just as serious then as the stuff going on now. So it's sad to see that that's so much farther away from then, and same fucked up shit. But anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Peace.